Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councillors, citizens, residents, visitors, and welcome back to the Krayvenstown streaming complex on this Sunday, the 15th of September. Yeah, it is the 15th. God, what am I doing? 15th of September 2019. I should know what the date is this weekend of all weekends. If you have just arrived, fantastic timing. We are just underway with the warm-up. And if it is your 100th time here, hello and welcome to Story Sunday. My God, it's been a little while. And hello, Councillor Lila. Thank you so much, Councillor Lila. Lovely to see you. Phoenix, for God, 44. Lila, first alert, blood goes to you. The Krayvenstown minions cheering your honour. Thank you so much for the host. And see you dying, resident see you dying. Lovely to see you, very well. I should be entertained by you. Also, belated happy birthday. Thank you so much. And Phoenix for God 44. Thank you so much for the host as well. I appreciate it. The Krayvenstown minions cheering your honour as well. They'll get an extra bucket of fish heads tonight. And Lila last doing a bit of Borderlands 3, doing that on her channel as well. Lila, are you actually streaming on the regular again? Because I caught you doing it like once or twice, and then you'd gone quiet with it. Are you now doing it regularly throughout the week? Citizen Stew, how you doing? Yes. So, what's been on the go for me recently? Let's well, birthday. Thank you, first of all, everyone who was able to make it to yesterday's live art celebration Saturday. That was really, really nice. It's only the second live art stream I've ever done. I don't tend to do Saturdays very much at all, so getting to actually stream on my birthday, and more of you swinging by and popping in as the day went on. The people being very generous. We had some serious biddy drop in, and quite a number of citizenships coming up, being gifted or re-upped as well, which was really, really kind. Made some stonking progress on emote number 3, Cray Metal. Oh no, wait, it's this way, isn't it? That sort of thing, the sort of collective positivity celebration one that will generally find a very good and frequent home here, I don't doubt. And then afterwards, yes, I pretty much wrapped up. We went to about 4:30, just before, and then quickly showered, prepped myself, nipped over to Oxford in the Krayvenstown mayoral turbo wagon, and parked up at Mr. Redweir's gaff, his personal penthouse in Weirdo Manor. And yeah, what do? Had a few beers at his, and our mutual friend Deb, aka Mucky Pup, swung by as well. We had the SNES set up again, and the PlayStation 1. Did a little bit of Mario Kart, Tekken, and also some god awful, so bad it was good Tekken rip-off PS1 era beat 'em up called Star Gladiator. That was it, with a really bad voice acting as well. It was so shit. It was so terrible. It was hilarious. We did it for a while, but it was one of those games that's not even so bad it's good. Kitsune Kamish, thank you so much, buddy. Lovely to see you. And yes, I'll catch everyone up on what the birthday drinks like and all that bits and stuff. And Phoenix says, I'll be around as I'm in a call with my girlfriend. Nice one, dude. Nice. Oh, fucking Christ! Bet that was Darkins.
Subway 75, bonus 7, a little late.
No worries, Darkins and Citizen Kitsune and Citizen Darkins. Thank you for the biddy and the enjoy your Crario coin. No affiliation with Mario, of course. And Darkins, bless you. Thank you for yet another pile of runny bum fudge. This chair is practically written off. I burst a hole through it with how many times you and others who know who they are have startled me with that damn alert. Thank you so much for doing the September alert as well and throwing in the extra 7. I appreciate it. Kitsune, how are you? Lovely. It's lovely to see you. It's great to see you in the chat again. Glad to be here. Yes, I know, Darkins, it's certainly your favourite stream of the roster, your favourite night of the week is Story Sunday. I appreciate you might have had the shakes and withdrawal and all kinds of cramps with 3 weeks without this, because due to I'm trying to remember what the previous one was, but obviously last weekend was impossible because I was in Liverpool, and prior one before that was also not really doable. And PS1 is your baby. I remember earning my PS1. I couldn't afford, when I was growing up, my family couldn't afford like the latest console. So although I knew Mega Drive and SNES, most of my friends had Mega Drive. I got to play them at friends' houses. So I was never much of a Nintendo kid because most of my friends had Sega. But what I got my first first computer set, the first hand, was an Amstrad Spectrum that ran on cassettes. Yes, I am that old. And then after that, I got an Amiga 500. And if you in the Amiga crew, which is kind of the third pairing of games, was a big popular machine for the while it existed, that was alongside the main rival alongside Nintendo and Sega. It came out in 1985, the Amiga 500. They did a 600 and a 1200 edition as well. But the 500 was powerful enough to run 8-bit and 16-bit games, so it lasted for 2 generations worth. So I was on that. I still got it in the attic. And then I went to PS1, and the PS1 I had to earn it by getting 2 commended report cards, because back in school we got a report card every half term. So a full term, which I think I had to do the whole spring term, or Lent term as it was called at my school. And a commended report card was 6 of your 10 subjects were A grade and above. And Krayven really didn't want to get me one, but I upheld my end of the bargain and did it. Never worked so hard, and I got that PlayStation, and all my grades started to go worth it. Hashtag worth it. Hashtag worth it. Make sure I haven't missed any chat there. Bits and pieces. Elijah says, trying to, as of right now, I'm still setting bits up. It's quite as and when for the moment. Fair play. Feel free to give yourself a shout out. You have that power. How's everyone's weekends been? What have you been up to? You get that link for charity? Yes, I saw it, Stu. I haven't had a chance. I literally, after yesterday's stream, obviously I got it because you sent it and it got sent through, but after yesterday's stream, I literally went straight out and I got back this afternoon just in time. Well, I'll get to the rest of that. I'll describe what's been going on for the birthday. And yes, I have to shakes. How can you hold out on me darkens? I'm just so sorry. But don't worry, Story Sunday's back. My delightful reading voice with all your excellent submitted articles and fun little Reddit stories and whatever else you got for me. You will get your oral orgasms shortly. I mean by verbal, not I'm actually gonna like. You know what? Never mind. That was better in my head than it came out of my mouth. Moving swiftly on. So yeah, like straight out, and it was just a couple of us. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a thing going around, and a couple of friends who were at the football for Oxford were playing someone. Oxford United were playing someone. I can't remember who, and feeling a little bit unwell. But Deb's really lovely, and obviously Redwood's one of my best friends, and we just made it out. She came round. We just the 3 of us went out for drinks. They got me a couple of cards. Deb got me Deb and Matt. I know these names are largely meaningless to you, but in the last minute, I set this up last minute because I wanted something so low-key after the stag do, which was like big celebration, a great night out. And it cost me a load of money. That was good. And then I had a great date on Friday with this lovely lass in Swindon, which saw in my birthday in the best possible, nearly the best possible way. I sort of set up something very last minute on Facebook, but got me a couple of Pointless. Oh, sorry, I know that's mirrored, but if you're in the UK, you'll know the TV show Pointless. But there's Pointless, the mini game, which is essentially it's a sort of game show, but with like points, questions, and stuff. I thought it was rather fun. They got that for me really quick, which is really sweet. And I've got a few of the cards behind me, just like surrounding Lego Wally there. And yo, Citizen Sapphire, how you doing? Yeah, well, I stayed over at Redwood, got back. We were listening to music and jams and just like some of our favourite metal and glam rock till 3 in the morning. And then yeah, Deb taxied it home, crashed over, and then we watched a little bit of the cricket last part of this morning. Chocolate panalan or whatever the hell they're called for breakfast. And yeah, watched England and Australia swap over the batting. Apparently we managed to draw the Ashes, but we won't get them because we have to win them to take them off the currently occupying side. So there we are. It's unfortunate. And then I drove back just in time. Kraymum treated me to a lovely 3-course Sunday lunch. There's a pub in this little village called Ardington. It's a very affluent, like the most Oxfordshire home counties village you can imagine. It's like owned by the great grandson of Lord Wantage, and it's like all very like private. You see 4x4 Porsches driving around there. It's very leafy and it looks like Inspector Morse would be set there or something. And chocolate for breakfast, the Beck breakfast. Wait, what? Whose birthday? Happy birthday! Yeah, Kitsune, it was my birthday yesterday. I did a special birthday stream, so I turned 34 yesterday, and I got taken out for a birthday lunch today. And then happy birthday! Sorry, I can comment. Yes, Sapphire, I saw your message. Thank you so much for the kind. And before I continue, everyone who wished yours truly a happy birthday in Krayvenstown and in Town Square and around and about, thank you for that as well. I appreciate not everyone could come by, whether you had IRL commitments during the day or time zones or whatever. I didn't expect it at all. A Saturday afternoon, midday UK till 4. It's a very awkward time. So however, in whatever way you wished it and passed on the kind words and the best wishes was extremely gratefully received. I wanted to make sure I spent some of the day with you lovely folks that make doing this sort of work, making this entertainment as enjoyable as it is for me. So that was awesome. But yeah, we went to the Boar's Head in Ardington and starter, a little bit of we had a wild boar pate and bread and summer fruits and vegetables. Then, of course, a full Sunday lunch, turkey and all home. And this is one of these proper public free houses where again, I was talking about it on Saturday, that the people who run the pub own the pub. And that always guarantees you're going to get way better food and quality because they've really invested in it, as opposed to being a landlord that some owner of a big chain sort of just puts in charge. And finished off with a nice lemon sorbet. I was starting to struggle though. Yo, Ziggy Z182, how you doing? Welcome to the warm-up. Going to get started with part 1 of the stories later. I'm on a fat roast base, but it wasn't overboard. So I had the starter, and it wasn't like some enormous pile of like super thick, like some delicious like huge plate you'd get in a Toby Carvery like up north. It was just right. It was all good, and I saw that just coming up.
Subway 75 bonus 7.
Darkens, thank you so much for another 75 biddies and the 7 bonus Subway ones as well. I don't know why the sound was a bit out of sync there, I swear. Something a bit funky went on. Of course, because it's Sunday, I do have Pillars of Eternity 2 running in the background the whole time, so that's sucking up a lot of...
grows.
Oh! Kelney Grows 1, thank you so much for the follow. Residency to Krayvenstown is granted. Lodgings are being prepared. Please ignore the screams. Citizens, and thank you sincerely so much for supporting channel. Citizens, you know the drill. Please hit that Welcome to Krayvenstown banner for Kelney Grows 1, the newest member of our little community. And Stu getting trolled on YouTube. I'm sorry to hear it. And Lord Darkens stands on the balcony of his manor and yells "Hoi!" while waving his town flag to rally the citizens and residents below. So then I was ruined. The walk back, it's only about 2 miles from where I am to Ardington Village, and it is the most beautiful summer weekend. I've been rather blessed with excellent weather. Thank you, universe, for a birthday weekend of being out and about and walking. But it's a lovely lunchtime walk. Lots of families, lots of people out on this countryside road, because we were on the Icknield path, which is probably meaningless to most of you, but it's a borderline prehistoric path that's been trodden in the UK since the Bronze Age in this sort of part of the country, and it still uses little footpath to this day that still exists and walks through from my little town through to Ardington and sort of these little countryside villages around there. And the walk back, it was somewhere between a stroll and a waddle. I was feeling very full. I barely got through 1 pint of ale. I did not have an especially heavy night. I didn't want a heavy night last night. I just wanted to have some good drinks, some drinks with friends. I'd already had some cake. I'd had a nice thing, and after the previous weekend I just let's take it nice and easy, have a thing. And I woke up this morning, I thought I'd had a good night's sleep. I hadn't actually really gotten that much sleep. Still had a few pints and a few gins and a few bits of this and that, and I think I woke up a bit like fucking mouth like a badger's ass, and having a pint of squash by my bed was a good idea, and and I was feeling a bit ropey today. So yeah, as going back to Stu, your question about if I'd seen the thing yet, basically I did not. From when I shut down the computer yesterday at the end of yesterday's art stream until 6 p.m, an hour before going live, I'd basically had the computer off and hadn't been on my phone very much, and I'd just been like, right, and I've just gone back into Krayvenstown and caught up with all of you lot just doing your things around the town and enjoying and engaging in the community. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, I've got a few things to catch up on now, but let's do the show. So that's what's been going on for myself. It's been a lovely birthday weekend, and again, thank you everyone for sharing and celebrating and well wishing it with me. What have you guys been up to? What have you folks been up to? Yo, Z-Big J, Resident Z-Big J, lovely to see you in the chat, mate. How you doing? How's your weekend? And Zeke says, oh yes, your birthday was yesterday. I was busy yesterday. Happy belated belated birthday, Ziggy. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Love wild boar pate. Right, Stu, I saw it on the menu and a place called the Boar's Head, you know. I was like, well, it's going to be a signature dish. It's going to be a signature starter. They better get this right. There was a bunch of great options, but I suddenly looked like, I haven't had pork in ages, and wild boar. That's like king's pork. So, yeah, I'm gonna have some of that. Oh, it was sublime. It was absolutely great. I'm from up north, not a fan of Toby Carvery. Yeah, to be honest, Toby Carvery was just a carvery chain that popped into my head. I prefer to go to, if I have a carvery, to go to one that's an individual one that's owned and run by a place. There used to be a place in Middlesbrough on the university campus called the Star and Garter. And they would do roasts. I'm talking, you know, proper northern grandma roasts. It's like the plates here and a mountain of food. And they made their own gravy. And I swear you could stand a spoon up in it, but it was amazing. If you'd been royally on the piss on a Friday. Fucking hell! Hit those legits. I've decided it's a new rule. If we get huge biddy donations along with citizenships, hit the legits for the legitness of that. Get some legits for Darkens. Quick bit of dabbing if indeed he's not watching.
Late happy birthday since I couldn't make it to yesterday's stream.
Darkens, thank you so much. That is incredibly kind. You don't have to, but I appreciate that you want to. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, getting all gooey. Well, Kitsune, very best of luck with that. I'm also trying to look for new clients and stuff so it's not only Twitch supplementing my income. So I totally sympathise, and the fact you're here, of all the choices of things you have to entertain yourself, and you decided, I want to hang out in this community and watch this mad English bastard sort of meander through some entertainment is more than anyone has to do. So don't apologise for what you can't do. Let me thank you for what you can, and thank you. Oh, first hunt of the evening. And ZBJ, thank you so much for the host of Krayvenstown Minions cheering. I love how the new day sound effect has become the trigger that we're going hunting. Exclamation mark hunt in the chat, folks. It's the first one of the evening. Come on. You're all there. You're all warmed up. You're all good to go. Right. I think that's about, he found a gift emo. Oh, lovely. Excellent. Exclamation mark hunt in the chat, exclamation mark hat, in the sorting hat. Right, I think right about now will be a good time to move on to part one. So folks, if you haven't been here before, those of you who are new arrivals, like, who's this handsome devilish sounding fellow? And he's saying just chatting, reading story, community submissions. I'm leaving the music up a little bit louder, by the way, because I've listened back to VODs and sometimes it goes so quiet that it's basically just in the background, borderline unhearable. So I'm going to leave it to hear and read. If you think it needs to come down a bit so you can appreciate these vocal cords all the more, then do let me know. Otherwise, I think we'll stick it around here and we'll get started now. Jesus Christ, did you get a jackpot? And you got the doggo jackpot as well. Beg one. You got a beg one jackpot. It's a good day. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Or Darkens in this case. Almost pressed it when it said gifts now. Oh, beautiful. Right. So yeah, if you haven't been here before, Sunday's become a two-part stream in the last several months, which is about 4, because this is episode 16. Yeah, episode 16 of this, where folks from my community, from the Krayvenites from Krayvenstown, will submit anything, articles, science, information-y bits, fun stories from Reddit, poems, things for me to read, as I've had enough nice compliments about my voice, not just from Anglophile Americans who like my accent and eloquence, but my actual tone. And if you decide, like, hey, wait a minute, this is really sending me to sleep, let me know. I take it as a compliment of the soporific qualities of my tonal virtues. Stu says, oh, hello, how did we do? It was a plated dust viper. Oh, well done. Darkens, myself and Stu walk away with a profit. Better luck the next time everyone else. Did a reconnaissance mission, taking photographs for evidence in the gym. Reminded me of old surveillance training days on Saturday while having a workout. Huh, cool. Ay, caramba. Feel free to correct me if it's wrong. What's wrong, Kitsune? Because you said I dropped more bits, did I get a job again, and then found a gift emote. and then almost pressed it when Gifts Now. I Crump, correct me if it's wrong. So there's some missing little thing there that hasn't actually been mentioned. I apologise. So, because we didn't do Story Sunday for this is like a 3-week gap, so we've had 2 Sundays without it due to my real life commitments. I'll be going back to submissions in the suggestions forum in the Krayvenstown streaming complex back to the 1st of September. So without further ado, let's go and take a little look. And this would be, what was the date? That was today. That's all today. So let me scroll back up a little ways. 8th of September, 2nd, 1st. So we've got a few, starting off with Senor Dark. To make sure I haven't missed out anywhere else. No, those other ones are from the 25th, which are the ones I covered, and I spoke, and then it's all good. So Reddit Malicious Compliance, we've got a couple of those from Lord Darkens of Krayvenstown. Darkens is the first. And again, folks, if you can be a yay or a nay on the sound, if it's good, just, yeah, it's good. And if you're on headphones or speakers, let me know which one it is. If it's like, could it come down a little bit, then that's all right. So, Malicious Compliance, those of you who aren't Redditors, to be honest, I'm only a Redditor on a Sunday when I read these things. Malicious Compliance is people conforming to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. This was posted a couple of weeks ago by user Jello1994. You want a refund for as much as I'm allowed to give? Okay, will do. About 15,500 upvotes at this point. So, I worked at Netflix for a few months from August last year to February this year. It was customer service, so it was basically a hell of elderly people calling for various stupid reasons. Bloody elderly people. One thing that happened constantly was people opening accounts by accident and not closing them. Most often it was an old person who forgot their password, so instead of recovering it, they would just make a new account each time it happened. The policy when I worked there was if they had watched even a minute of Netflix on an account, we could only refund the last 3 months' charge, no matter the age of the account. If they hadn't watched Netflix at all, we could credit up to 6 months. And if they had a single minute of Netflix used in the past month, we were only allowed to credit 1 month. And parentheses, and no refund at all if they tried to cancel within a week of their billing date. We were also told not to refund anything if we weren't explicitly asked for a refund. Sounds very corporate. My last week at the job, they didn't care about their rules much. If someone forgot they paid for Netflix and seemed genuine or like it was a true mistake, I'd just refund as much as the system would allow me to credit, even if it was technically going against our rules. So the full 6 months. So mentally checked out from the job, don't give a shit anymore, just going to benefit the customer. Yo, Resident Hismarker, nice to see you, mate. Welcome. We're just getting underway with the main body of part 1. So, one day in that last week, I have some old man calling. He inadvertently made a new account for each device he had for Netflix, so he had like 5 to 6 accounts each, with near daily use. He was generally pleasant, so I decided I'd offer him as much as the system would allow, instead of the 1 month that we were supposed to do if asked. So I tell him that I can credit back the last 6 months of each of the accounts he wishes to cancel. This causes him to become livid. I've had these fucking accounts for over a year, and you're gonna goddamn refund me the full amount I'm owed, and stuff like that being spewed at me for the next minute or so. Eventually, he demands to talk to my manager because he thinks that they will be able to refund him the full amounts. The fun part now is the supervisors followed every rule to the word. So I had the pleasure of getting my supervisor on the line, who ended up telling him that they could only refund a max of 1 month per account. So he lost out on 5 months per account, this is 5 or 6 accounts, of possible refund money. All because he decided to act like a dick and throw a tantrum. Now, TLDR, guy made a bet he could get more money back in a refund from a manager, and he lost that bet. Rule of that story: don't be a prick when someone's trying to refund you, because a 6 months refund on everything, that's just pretty solid all round. Good start, thank you, Darkens. Didn't Imp run off with your flag again? They do from time to time, the little bastards. Next one, another malicious compliance from Darkens, also from the 1st of September. Let's crack on. Story number 2. Ooh, military malicious compliance. Stu, you might appreciate this. This is from user RDDT just for fun. It's only had about 688 upvotes. That's usually quite little. It's quite a meaty one. Okay. So, military malicious compliance. We have compulsory military service here in Austria, and about 20 years ago it was my turn to serve my 8 months. So any military details are useless as of today, as many things have changed. Some basic information needed to understand this story. To be allowed to enter the base, you have to have your military ID card. To be allowed to stay out during curfew, which is 12 AM to 6 AM, or to leave for the weekend and come back Monday morning, you require a special permission, a so-called, I'll try and do the German for this, Überzeitschein, literally overtime permission. Recruits with their own car who wanted to park inside the base needed a parking permit. The Einstellgenehmigung. God, German, such a beautiful language. Hello, Crypod. Lovely to see you. How you doing? Happy Sunday. Happy weekend. Yeah. Oh, can the music level be lowered a bit? Absolutely, Darkens. No problem. I hope that's a little bit better for you, sir. Thank you for asking. As the actress said to the bishop, "Hey, Rare Phoenix RPG." Oh yeah, it's been ages. It's been a solid 12 hours. Welcome back, mate. So yes, there's you need a special permissions and you need a parking permit if you have your own car. So there's the basic information. Now to the actual story. I was assigned to a unit in our largest military base, a former US Army camp created after World War II, with a place for up to 3,500 military personnel. That's a hunt happening! Exclamation mark hunt in the chat. The base is located on the outskirts of the city of Salzburg, near the airport and the German border, next to a much-travelled autobahn, which all of you will know is a highway in Germany. Back then, the base had no explicit guard unit. Guard duty was rotating between the different units, so every unit of the base had several turns per year. So one week before my time in the military was over, I and several other guys from my unit were selected for guard duty from Sunday to Monday. We were not happy about it because we had duty on Saturday also, which meant that most of us wouldn't be able to go home for the weekend. Well, orders are orders. There was nothing we could do about it, so in the evening we started our guard duty. A night on guard duty is long and mostly boring and gives you time to think about different things. This night, I remembered an urban legend or rumour regarding the base, sometimes brought up when goofing around. Going like this. If the guard at the main entrance enforces all rules to the letter, he might be able to create a traffic jam on the highway. Haven't had a chance yet, Rare Phoenix, because I think you just arrived. I didn't get to explain. I literally, after yesterday's stream, I was out and I got back about midday today, and then my mum took me out for a birthday lunch, and I was so wiped out I didn't turn my PC on until an hour before the stream started. So basically between yesterday until now I haven't even been at my computer, but I will get around to it. Or I'll certainly try and get around to it. And folks, if you're interested in manga, Rare Phoenix Games. Oh, Mika the Geek's coming in! Exclamation mark welcome! Exclamation mark welcome, folks. Do go into Writer's Coffee Shop and check out RPG's manga writing. If you're into manga writing, he's posted a bunch of it in there. And folks, just going to pause the stories there. Welcome, Mika and crew. Welcome to the Mika crew. Welcome to the Krayvenstown streaming complex. Oh, and in the middle of the welcome, we even have Hit That Legit, because Darkers has just gifted the citizenship back to his marker for his 50th. A big round 5-0. Citizens, you know the drill. Darkers and his marker. Hit that legit, hit that legit, hit that legit. Have I still got time to get in on the hunt as well? Mika, welcome. Oh no, I didn't. I missed the hunt. Hit that legit. Mika, Raiders, welcome. Well, Raiders, you've just come in. That is what our sub alert is. So I'm going to very, very quickly go through the sub spiel, and then we'll give a shout out to Mika. So Lila, hang fire on the shout for a second until all the legit spam goes by. Those of you who've just arrived in, welcome. My name is Krayven. Welcome to the Krayvenstown streaming complex. You are watching Story Sunday. It's a 2-part stream. Leader Golem, thank you so much for the host. Lovely to see you again. Part 1 is I read stories submitted by the community, and part 2 we do narrative-based games, and it's going to be Pillars of Eternity 2, so there's plenty to enjoy, so do stick around. Thanks so much for coming by. Leader Golem, hello again, hello. So, his marker, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. You're not just legit, you are once again Krayvenstown legit. Enjoy the reuse of your Krayvens. Fuck's sake. Oh,
Subway 75, bonus 7, so much happening at once.
There's so much happening at once, and, well, alright then, I'll do this because Lila's already done the shout out. Mika the Geek is a lovely fellow, very tall, strapping young man who I met at Twitch London Summer, and is back on the streaming, and he's been entertaining massively with Gears of War 2. Oh, back on the Xbox 360 days, really lovely fellow, and if Gears of War is up your street, you should go and check him out. Mika, thank you so much for the raid. No worries at all. And Raiders, if I could trouble you, I hope this isn't too cheeky. If you feel like hitting that leak, don't hit the leak, that'll make you wee yourself. Hit that link, because then your views, if you decided to stick around, and why wouldn't you? I mean, come on. Will count towards my view count right away, and or just remove the refer a raid bit and hit refresh, and that'd be awesome. Here's marker, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. You're not just legit, you're once again Krayvenstown legit. Enjoy the continued use of your emote. Number 3 is now well on the way, thanks to yesterday's Celebration Saturday art stream. But of course, welcomes when we get new residents, legit when we get new citizens, which is what we call followers and subs respectively. Otherwise, use that legit as you see fit. The most common bit of gamer slang on the entire internet, and the only channel on Twitch where you get an emote that actually says it. Next, what are you up to by now? His mark, you must be on at least a silver, if not a gold. Gonna have to scroll up. His marker, pipe up in chat, so I know which flagged away for you, but I'm going to assume gold for now.
A wise decision.
Sporeza 007. My goodness, he's got 2 confirmed kills. Sporeza, welcome to Krayvenstown. Residency granted, lodgings being prepared. Please ignore the scream. Citizens, please hit some welcome to Krayvenstown banners for Sporeza 007, the newest member of our little community. Lovely to have you. Currently working through them all. Oh, nice one. So going to go all the way to number 5. His marker. Wave your Krayvenstown town flag loud and proud every time you chat, and it's only got one more stage to get this even more prestigious until such time I get partner, and then we get 18 months, 2 years, and all the rest of it. And I'll just catch that in a second, Phoenix. Next, of course, you will be able to enter the Citizens giveaway. Those of you who are citizens or not, we have a monthly giveaway at the first stream of each month for a chance to win a free prize game. And that will be opening at 8 PM. Whatever stream that is closest to the 1st of October will be the next one. Show usually starts at 7 PM on my regular days. You will regain his marker. You will regain your access to Citizens Towers, the subs only area of Krayvenstown. And those of you wondering what Krayvenstown is, excellent question. It's our lovely Discord and community, very community-based stream right here. And provided your Twitch and your Discord accounts are linked in your personal Discord settings, which is marker, I think yours definitely are. And last but by no means least, my undying appreciation and gratitude not only to his marker for the continued massive amounts of support, but Darkens for 50 gifted citizenship visas. That's a hell of a number. Thank you so much indeed. I'm on alright stream. I've got a long way to go, Leader Golem, but thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. What's the giveaway about? It's a subs only perk. It's one of the perks of subscribing, or being a citizen rather, to me, Stu. So basically, the first stream of each month, or either on the 1st of the month or as close as I can get to it, let's say if my next stream falls on the 2nd or something, I do a giveaway that month, and only subscribers can enter it, and it's for a free game. I have a list of free games, and at 8 PM usually, because it's usually a 7 PM show, 8 PM UK time, I open it up, there's a 2-minute window, you do exclamation mark giveaway just at that slot, and whoever wins a free game. Game on Steam. Yeah, it's a game on Steam. Yeah, I don't have any console bits. It's a Steam code, unfortunately. I hope that's still alright. Okay, my goodness. And again, Darkens, thank you much for 75 biddies. And what was that? I just saw the thing from Rare Phoenix. Oh, and Krayven, I told a very close friend that's like a grandmother to me about adopting, and she was so proud of me. That's fantastic. Yes, RPG, Rare Phoenix Games discovered us yesterday, or Fox, if you've seen her in Krayvenstown, already getting very engaged with the community, is looking to adopt a child, which is wonderful. And that's really good news, especially when it's someone someone you look up to and you like their approval, and it means a lot to you that they would be that proud and chuffed. So good for you. Excellent stuff. Congratulations, Leader Golem. Exclamation mark hunt. Exclamation mark hunt. Exclamation mark hunt in the chat, exclamation mark hunt, get yourself some creds. What are creds? They are channel points. If you want to learn more about them, exclamation mark KRED, like the command shows in the stream title. And Krayven is paler in my screen but redder in darks. Yes, I don't have tanned. Seriously, this isn't my skin, this is a top. I know they're the same colour, but I go from pale pasty white to lobster red. I don't have brown in the middle. Toasty! So there you go, you can learn a bit more about creds. The cred is the meta command, so my creds is how many you have, get creds is how to earn them, and spend creds is what you can spend them on. We have the regular prizes for a few hundred to 1,000, then for those of you who've got lots, because you've supported me a lot in various ways, we've got the high roller prizes as well. It's like the person I've known the last 4 or 5 years now, I see her nearly every day as well. Oh, that's lovely. Right, are you going to be at the next Twitch London? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I never miss it, Mika. How about you? Right, I am going to be 854 creds already. Nice one, Stu. Congrats. That's excellent. Current total for Kitsune, 3,500. Darkens, don't put in what you're going to make everyone else cry. There it is. 130, nearly 133,000. He's already spent quite a lot on stuff as well. 100% going to be there. Awesome. BRB need to put away chickens. Living or in the fridge? Cool. Right. Back to the remainder of this military story. My goodness, what a fun intermission that was. So back then, so I'll just repeat the last little part. I was assigned to a unit in our largest military base, a former US Army camp created after World War II, with place for up to 3,500 military personnel. The base is located on the outskirts of the city of Salzburg, near the airport and the German border, next to a much-travelled Autobahn. Living chickens, okay. You have 4 live chickens. Oh, nice one. 3 eggs for life for you. All hail the Creds King. Well, he is Lord Darkens of Krayvenstown. Back then, the base had no explicit guard unit. Guard duty was rotating between the oh yeah, I already did that bit. So they'd done duty on Saturday and then they had to do it again. So none of them be going home for the weekend. But orders are orders. There was nothing we could do about it. So in the evening we started our guard duty. Night on guard duty is long and mostly boring and gives you much time to think about different things. This night I remembered an urban legend regarding the base, sometimes brought up when goofing around. Quote, if the guard at the main entrance enforces all rules to the letter, he might be able to create a traffic jam on the highway. End quote. Alright, on to the new material. Well, I was the guard at the main entrance. I had the morning shift. It was Monday morning. I was still somewhat pissed annoyed about the missed weekend. I thought if they want me to guard the entrance, I will guard it to the letter. Malicious compliance mode on. There is a base on one side of the Autobahn. The city and the airport are on the other side. There is a 2-lane road connecting the base entrance with the city. The on-off ramps to the Autobahn are directly in front of the base, forming 2 crossings of the aforementioned road. Right, I'll try and describe this. So imagine the city and the airport is at the top. You've got an Autobahn in the middle with on and off ramps on either side. A little village further down off to one side and the base at the bottom. So you've got city, airport, Autobahn plus ramps, base at the bottom, and the village is off there. Okay. 6 a.m. rolled around and the traffic started slowly trickling into the base. The first cars arrived and I got into full malicious compliance mode. Usually, if there was a car full of recruits, you checked the military identity card, and if one guy didn't have his card ready and you knew some guy in the car, well, alright, in you go. Not this time. There are 4 people in the car. I got to see 4 identity cards, 4 permissions for coming in late, the Überzeitschein, and 1 Einstellungen for permission to have a car. You don't have it ready? Is it somewhere in the back of the trunk? Well, fetch it. No permission for the car? Turn around and park elsewhere. I took all the papers in my hands, checked if the faces matched, checked for matching names in the permissions, correct number plate on the car, etc, etc. At around 7:30 a.m. I had just 4 cars queued up and thought, well, the rumour was clearly exaggerated. Oh boy, I was so wrong. While I was focused on checking the next car in the queue, had to fetch the papers from the trunk, something happened. The next thing I noticed was honking. A whole lot of honking. And as I looked, I saw a massive queue of cars had formed and was backing up the ramps of the onto the Autobahn. And another queue backing up in the direction of the airport and the city. Holy fuck. As soon as the first cars blocked one crossing, it was a matter of 2 to 3 minutes to a full-blown traffic jam. A few minutes later, everything was blocked by cars wanting to get into the base. People who wanted to exit the autobahn to drive into the city or to the airport couldn't do it because the people wanting to go into the base were blocking everything. Also, the people couldn't leave the city because the traffic jam prevented them getting to the ramps onto the autobahn. Suddenly, the officer of the day, the OVT, or Offizier von Tag, comes running out of the guardhouse shouting, "What are you doing? You can't do enhanced security checks now. It's Monday morning." He noticed because he was listening to the radio, and the radio traffic service had mentioned a traffic jam at our base. Well, then something happened I will never forget. The OVT placed some guards on the first crossing inside the base who had to stop all traffic which wanted to leave the base. He made us open all the boom barriers, even the one usually reserved for big trucks. We basically created a 3-lane one-way into the base. I stood there, mouth agape, looking at the officer of the day, who waved his traffic pad like he was trying to impersonate a windmill. Just fucking just go, 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 go. He looks back to me and the second guard and yells, "Don't just look, wave them in, all of them, now!" So we waved them in, all of them. Among them, my company commander and several sergeants of our unit. The look on their faces was priceless. It took nearly half an hour until things settled down, but then the fun began. Again, this time from the inside of the base. We got all sorts of frantic tourists asking for the German border. Mostly Italians, but also some Germans. All they could find were people in uniforms and fences all around, and no way to Germany. Well, we very politely explained to them that we were a military base and not the German border. And the best thing is, no one reprimanded me for that little stunt, not the officer of the day and not my company commander. But sometimes I still hear the rumour that once upon a time a guard caused a traffic jam just by following the rules. Outstanding. That is the definition of malicious compliance. Beautiful. BRB wants some cereal? Yum yum, enjoy it. I hope that's Cocoa Pops.
What a lovely day!
Yo, Effects, how you doing? Lovely to see you, mate. How's things? How's life? Cereal bars or milk cereal? Bowl of course. Just a bowl of cereal. Always milk. I'm not a monster. If you're going to have dry cereal, it's got to be straight out the box. Outstanding. Right, we've got one more from September 7th, a bit of Reddit, and then we've got a rather funky story from the New Zealand Herald. So this is I Don't Work Here, Lady. Another one from Lord Darkens. I Don't Work Here Lady is a derivative of subreddits like Tales from Retail. It involves stories about folks that go into other businesses and have irate or pissed off customers mistake them for employees. So, oh, that's unfortunate. It was XXXXXXL. It was a very, very, very long one, but it's been removed. It clearly didn't measure up to the things. All right, well, I have to skip over that. That's unfortunate. Well, no worries. Straight on the 2nd of September, submitted by Citizen Evil Jess from the New Zealand Herald. A 74-year-old accused of getting an entire church high on weed cookies. Oh, hell yes. This story is going to be fan-dabby-bobulous. I got clotted cream and strawberry cookies with coffee and needed to pick me up. That sounds good. Life is good. Been living at the gym. Oh, Effects. I'm not jealous. You should be motivating me. I need to get my chubby ass back there. Right. So this is New Zealand Herald from what date? End of the month. So about 29th of August. A 74-year-old accused of getting entire church high on weed cookies. Legend. I want to do that at 74. They'd never see me catch me dead in a church. Several churchgoers aged 12 to 70, oh my god, ended up in the local emergency room. Okay. 6 congregation members. Shall I do this in a bad New Zealand accent? Right, I'll try. If this offends anyone from New Zealand, I'm so sorry. 6 congregation members ended up in the emergency room in the US after attending church. That sounds more South African. A 74-year-old parishioner, identified as Mr. Jones, is allegedly to blame. Mr. Jones baked some cookies and took them to church. The other congregants thought they were partaking of a bit of sinful cookie eating, but didn't realise just how sinful. The churchgoers, aged 12 to 70, ended up in the emergency room after attending a service at the St. John's Apostle Catholic Church in Bloomington, Indiana, in the US. It turned out Mr. Jones' cookies had a special little ingredient. Weed. The special ingredient was weed. I'm not doing my own take on that. This New Zealand Herald has gone weed. The special ingredient was weed. This is written by an intern who spends too much time on the internet. The churchgoers reported to a hospital with adverse effects had said the cookies tasted unusually salty. I wonder if that was the only secret ingredient in them. Jones initially denied adding anything to the cookies, but police searched his home and ended up finding an orange pill bottle containing capsules of a brown oily substance which later tested positive for marijuana. He ended up turning himself in and has been charged with criminal recklessness and possession of hash oil. Quote, "We are praying for everyone involved," said Father Duncan Daniel Mahan of the church. "We are praying for Mr. Jones. We are keeping in prayer those who took ill that Sunday, and we are praying for justice with mercy." Brilliant. Brilliant. That's legit. Oh, kudos to Evil Jess. That's fucking awesome. I love it. And the next one, a story from the 8th of September, so we're now 1 week ahead, courtesy of the now newly reminted Citizen His Marker from Tifu. And Tifu is a great subreddit. It's again back on Reddit. This is Tifu, which means today I fucked up, is a community for the dumbass in all of us. We all have those moments where we do something ridiculously stupid. Let us make each other feel better about ourselves. Mika the Geek, thank you so much for the lurk. If you mute the tab, if you don't want the background noise, the view will still count. And if you just want it on in the background, thank you so much. Just don't slide that slider down to 0 if you are lurking, because if it goes to mute, fucking Twitch goes, you're a bot, and gets rid of you. Ill, I want to be that ill. Wobbly leg pensioners in the hospital, nice. Lift your sexy ass off that chair and return to your old ways and get bulking. I know, I should, I will. Oh, we got a hunt underway, exclamation mark hunt. Right, so I've got a gap in between the stories. I can join in on this one. Yay! Exclamation mark hunt, command, hunt, command, hunt. Alright, so 7 days ago by user Kendrick Grande. Tifu, today I fucked up by putting pesticides in someone's house with tortoises. Oh, that's a bit sad. This happened a few months ago. I was working at Pest Control, and the app I used for my routes always had a brief description of the house I was supposed to treat, and sometimes a picture, about 50-50 whether there or not there was a picture. I pulled up to one of my stops, already exhausted, as I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and oh god, that's going to get boiling, and in the early summer, temperatures can exceed 100 Fahrenheit. Their house is noted on my app as having bushes everywhere. The techs who I work with were nice, but weren't overly helpful or descriptive in their notes. There was no pic of the house, but it was in a newly developed neighborhood, so it made sense that there wasn't a picture. Anyways, I noticed the house has bushes, but not a lot, so I feel relieved that it would be easier than I thought. You have to treat all non-edible vegetation all around its roots, which large bushes have a lot of. I ring the doorbell and nobody answered after 2 rings. Standard protocol then is to check if the gate is unlocked. If so, treat the front and backyard, otherwise, just do the front. Many customers prefer not to be home for the service since they'd have to miss work and wouldn't want the inside treated anyways. The gate was unlocked and the dogs I heard barking were locked inside, so I assumed that was the case and was pleased to find they had prepared accordingly. I treat most of the property, and near the end of my job I see a car pull up. Tired but friendly, I give the homeowner a smile and introduce myself. It was this small older lady, so her response threw me off even more. So it was a small older lady, so this response threw me off even more. What the fuck are you doing in my yard? Shocked, but trying to remain calm, I said I was scheduled to come here today for your bi-monthly treatment. At this moment, everything was slowly piecing together in my head, and my heart sank as I knew this woman's next sentence before she said it. No, I don't use your company. We don't have a pest control provider, period. Frantically, I apologized and asked for 1 second to check my route. I looked at my app and read the address on the house and then the number on the house. On the app, it was 3866. On the house, it was 3868. Holy fucking shit. I had not only wasted 40 minutes treating the wrong house, I had essentially let myself into someone's yard who wasn't expecting me. To say I apologized is an understatement. I knew that if I was in her spot, even though I would be understanding, I would be weirded out that some dude was in my backyard for minutes because he had misread a sign. In my defense, number 6 and 8 looked similar in the front, true, and I was very exhausted, but still a super dumbass mistake I shouldn't have made. She looks frustrated and tells me to just pack up my stuff and go and it would be fine. Happily. She also apologised for swearing at me and said she was just startled seeing a stranger in her backyard, which is very understandable. I still feel guilty, but I feel relieved thinking how much worse that it could have been. Yeah, Arizona, you're on someone's property. She asks, as I'm reeling in my spray hose, oh, that stuff won't hurt my things or my pets, right? Confidently, I said, no, your stuff will be fine, as well as your vegetation, and your dogs are perfectly safe, but I would recommend giving the product about 45 minutes to dry first. And then, hey, you just got free pest control, trying to break the awkwardness with a joke. She looked concerned still and asked if it was safe for tortoises too. Panic makes a sudden reappearance. Is it a tortoise or another type of turtle? Tortoise. The situation just got even worse. When treating a home where a tortoise roams freely in the backyard, we only use the all-natural inside treatment, as the outside treatment can be fatal for them. Every house with a tortoise is marked on bright red on our route, but this wasn't the right fucking house. I then hesitantly ask if he goes out in the backyard. I didn't see any tortoise habitat, so I thought maybe he stayed inside and it would be okay. Even though I didn't get my hopes up, as most people opt not to keep them inside full time, as that's what's best for them. She noticed my hesitation and said, he was outside while you were out there. Is that a problem? Without thinking, I just said, yes, where would he be? And started booking it towards her backyard, asking if I can go in to find the tortoise. She told me he usually hangs out by the dirt in the side yard, but could be anywhere. The top priority right now was getting the tortoise to that lady and getting him inside. Hopefully she had a proper setup inside for him. I'm panicking harder than I ever have at work, not even because I was behind on my route, not even because this could get me fired, but because my fuck up easily could have harmed or killed this poor lady's tortoise. In the side yard, I find nothing. I then search the patio and eventually the grass. Still nothing. Normally tortoises at households can be larger and get to the size where they have to be outside full time. But I assumed this one was smaller and probably a baby, as there's positively no way I would miss a full-size adult tortoise in a fairly open backyard. I was already scared I was missing any size tortoise and that it was dead in some type of vegetation. Oh no. While I'm searching through the bushes, she comes over to me and taps my shoulder. When I look up, she says, "It's fine. My husband apparently put him in his tank before I left." I went on to feel, 1, an insane wave of relief knowing I didn't just kill this tortoise. 2, inform her that for the next month at least he shouldn't go outside. She looked peeved, not surprisingly, but I think she was just as relieved as I was that the tortoise was okay, and apparently it must have been small enough to have a habitat inside. I proceeded to leave and apologise again, and she just said okay and left it at that. She didn't call my company because if she did, I would have been fired and then rehired just so I could get fired again. I was so frazzled the rest of the day, and from then on I triple checked that every house I worked on was the right one, even though I quit a few weeks later. Oh, bloody hell. Outstanding. It turns out everything was okay, but that was a spectacular idiocy. Oh, look at effects. Myself, Stu, and Darkins walking out with a profit. Congrats. Chilonians are cute. I hope nobody intentionally hurt some with pesticides. No, this is... TIFU literally is an acronym of Today I Fucked Up. So it's anything that's posted in here is a mistake, as opposed to anything malicious. Nice one. Right, we've got another one from Dunk. Oh, this is from TIL, which is Today I Learned. So on the... Oh, the rest... Okay, we caught up. We're now on today's stories. So the next couple are from... Next three are from Citizen Duncan of Florence. So we've got Today I Learned. So now it's time for the edifying, educational little part of part 1. Let's see what we've got here. Wow, posted a couple of weeks ago by user Treeden Corns, nearly 22,000 upvotes. So this is usually just a link to something else, which is today I learned squirrels' brains grow in size during the fall or during autumn to help them remember where they bury their nuts. Their brains are smaller the rest of the year. And this is actually going to take us on a link to animalfactsencyclopedia.com. So excellent, we've got some cute animal facts. Let's see how long this one is, because usually the articles are a bit beefier. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay. So, squirrel facts. One of the more amazing squirrel facts is that their brains expand every year when it is time for them to start burying nuts for the winter, giving them the grey matter it takes to remember where all the nuts are stashed. That makes so much evolutionary sense. But imagine just like your brain will actually grow when you're cramming for an exam or something. There are dozens of species of squirrels found all over the world, except for Antarctica and, surprisingly, Australia. The eastern grey squirrel is a typical example, a small, highly active rodent with a long, well-furred tail. The iconic tail, held aloft in a graceful S-curve, while the squirrel sits on its haunches, serves several purposes.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Another hunt, another hunt. Exclamation mark hunt. So it serves several purposes. It is a balancing aid as the squirrel bounds from limb to limb through the treetops. It helps to regulate body temperature as blood is distributed through the extremities that help cool the body during heat waves. And third, it aids in communication. Squirrels jerk their tails to show agitation, carry them high or low to indicate social status, and flag their tails when encountering dangerous predators. Flagging is most often seen in the California ground squirrel, a 1-pound animal that will approach and confront rattlesnakes, bloody hell, while waving their outstretched tails above their heads. This behaviour serves as a multi-pronged signal to the snake that 1, they have been detected, and 2, the squirrel is focusing full attention on the snake. Toasty indeed. Some of the deadliest snakes in the world will simply turn and slither away when approached by a flagging squirrel. Their advantage as an ambush hunter lost, they move on to other less alert quarry. Another fascinating habit of many squirrel species, and here's the main thrust of the article, is the burying of nuts and seeds in preparation for the winter months. Eastern grey squirrels, found in the eastern United States and Canada, may collect and hide 1,000 nuts and acorns and seeds in a single autumn season. Like, that's a huge number, I didn't know that. They bury 1 nut per 2-inch deep hole and cover it back up discreetly. When the leaves fall from the trees in the dead of winter, they can remember the location of all these buried treasures and dig them up even through feet of snow. That's amazing. But how is it possible for an animal with a brain the size of a walnut to actually remember where they buried all their walnuts? Very clever. Their hippocampus, which is a brain structure critical for memory, appears to change by season, developing more neuron activity and even expanding in size in the fall, when the job of caching is due to begin. Squirrels also show incredible adaptability by living and thriving in some of the world's busiest cities. Manhattan, Chicago, LA, is the busiest American cities anyway, are all home to grey squirrels and fox squirrels, and eastern grey squirrels can be found all the way to London, where they were imported from America in the 1800s, unfortunately, because we used to have delightful little red squirrels. The British squirrel is a red squirrel, and the grey squirrels sort of out-eat them and outbreed them, the dirty little bastards. These squirrels, fully wild animals, sometimes show amazing trust in their human neighbours, climbing on and accepting treats from friendly animal lovers from Central Park to Piccadilly Circus. Backyard squirrels in suburban neighbourhoods show their smarts by outwitting bird feeders, yes, I've seen that happen in my own garden, pet food containers and garbage cans, rubbish cans if you're in the UK. They have shown in scientific experiments to have remarkable powers of reason, working on locks and puzzles and mazes with the ease of rats and raccoons. Squirrels are so intelligent, in fact, that in some urban areas where traffic is super heavy, they will wait at crosswalks with other pedestrians and cross only when a group of people steps off the curb, indicating that the coast is clear. That I didn't know. So there's some generally amazing squirrel facts. Oh, Darkins is challenging Stu to a duel. Stu, if you want to take it up, just do !duel and then at Darkins 10,000, and we'll see who is the winner of gladiatorial combat, if you feel so inclined. Well, that's awesome. Well, today we all learned a lot of excellent stuff about squirrels. We got another one from history, Reddit history. Duncan of Florence, again, thank you so much, Citizen Duncan. The ignoble deaths of kings. Curious. So this was posted by user SkookumJ a couple of weeks ago. 5,000 upvotes. Reddit history, the subreddit's pretty self-explanatory. And the user said it went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Was reading about Charles VIII of France. Interesting dude. Led a powerful French army, kicked off the Italian wars, and had a big impact on history. Died by smashing his head on the lintel of a door on his way to watch a tennis match. That's pretty pathetic. Such a bad way to die, but it jogged a memory. He wasn't the only French king to die by smashing his head on a doorway. That led me to Louis III of France, who, as the story goes, died when he mounted his horse to chase down a frightened girl and smashed his head on a low doorway. Well, good. Trying to chase down a girl on a bloody horse. Bloody rapey king there. 2 kings of France killed because they didn't duck. What are the odds? That that got me curious about the deaths of other French monarchs, which led me to Philip of France, killed when his horse tripped over a pig when he was riding along a river. How does a horse trip over a pig? When riding along a river, when Charles II of Navarre, or Navarre, however you're supposed to say that, Navarre, who died when his doctor prescribed that he be wrapped in linen soaked in alcohol. The linen promptly caught fire, caused either by a careless maid with a candle, or a pan of coals to heat his bed. And of course Henry II of France, who died in a jousting accident when the splinters of his opponent's lance got through his visor and punctured his eye. That's quite the list of accident-prone monarchs. Dangerous being the king, and that's not counting all the wars and assassins and that sort. So that got me thinking, what are some of the great examples of monarchs with ignoble deaths? And there's a couple of the posts underneath this, like, comments. So there's, like, not a king, but here in Portugal, our last big dictator, Antonio de Salazar, died because he fell off his chair and hit his head because he was reading the newspaper while sitting down. And that happened in August. Wow, as recently as 1968, Portugal had a dictator. Because he was so stubborn and was scared it might damage his image of power, he kept it a state secret and only went to the hospital a month later. After that, he went through surgeries, coma, and only left the hospital in February 1969. He was still in a very weak condition and ended up dying in July 1970. The funniest part to me is that during that time, Portugal obviously had to change its leader, but because the doctors were scared of the realization that he was no longer the dictator, it could be too much of a shock and killed him. Every visitor, including the press, was ordered to act as if he was still a dictator in his presence because he was too weak to take it. Imbecile. Outstanding. Brilliant. Oh yeah, it's just Jewel without jewels. There we go. Okay, so I think Darkens, now you'll have to respond to it. Because now you'll have to... I think if there's too much of a delay, yeah, that's it. So Stew's one delayed, so Darkens, you'll have to respond to Stew now that you fully revitalize if you want to do the duel. Oh, we've got a facepalm Reddit, another one from Duncan. That 1968, that's crazy, and he died falling off a chair. I know, right? So Reddit facepalm. I've not had a subreddit here before. Oh, what's happened to my playlist? God damn it! Oh, it's already finished. Shit. Okay, let's pick a different one. That'll do. So this is Reddit facepalm. It's a subreddit for you to share the stupidity of people online and IRL. So from user Crispy Limpo 3 days ago, 3,000 upvotes. Missing woman mystery solved. Oh, that was coming a bit louder. Missing woman mystery solved. It's just a small newspaper clipping. A group of tourists spent hours Saturday night looking for a missing woman near Iceland's Eldgjá Canyon, only to find her among their search party. The group was travelling through Iceland on a tour bus and stopped near a volcanic canyon. Soon there was word of a missing passenger. The woman, who hadn't changed clothes, didn't recognise the description of herself and joined the search. But the search was called off at about 3 AM when it became clear the missing woman was in fact accounted for and searching for herself. Wow. That is some next level idiocy. Brilliant. Perfect. Sublime. Cool, we've got three more Reddit posts for today from Darkens, and all three are from Pro Revenge. So we'll finish off part one with some Pro Revenge. Love a bit of Pro Revenge. Okay, so Pro Revenge, pretty self-explanatory subreddit. Have a story of you or someone you know getting back at someone with Pro Revenge after being wronged? Post it here. So this is from user DarthZen0 or Darth Zeno, 5,000 upvotes, posted a day ago. Fire me because I was sick. Have fun making minimum wage. So this took place a couple of years back, and one of my old co-workers said I should post it here. So this happened during the beginning of my senior year of high school. I was balancing out football, work, and school and work. I worked at a convenience store chain that's only around my region of the country, which is the USA. I had an incompetent store manager. She was lazy, never wanted to do work, and all the store associates, including assistant managers, were always stuck cleaning up her mess. She took 2-hour lunches and always thought it was appropriate to leave her shift early. For some reason, and I'll never understand why, but she did not like me for whatever reason. A good example was her writing me for using my cell phone on the floor when it was my mother calling me asking when to pick me up. There's a hunt underway, folks. Didn't have my license when this was going on. Or the time she gave me shit for not fully stocking the fridge. Now, she came in early in the morning and I would usually come in at the end of her shift because I had school and football practice. Then there was night shift after me. She would come in the morning and see the fridge not fully stocked. This is just an example of how much of an idiot she really was and how she should be giving night shift guys write-ups for that, but no, I was her main target. Now, I'd gotten very sick one weekend and had called into work that I couldn't come in that day. None of the managers or assistant managers were in, so the team lead took my message. Looking back at it, I should blame him more than my idiot manager, but still. I assume he never told the managers I was out because come the next week, I had a football game on Saturday and I usually work Saturdays. When I had gotten that job earlier that year, I gave... sorry, his grammar's terrible. And earlier that year, I gave her my football schedule so she wouldn't put me on for that day. My boss calls me Friday night telling me I had to come into work Saturday because I missed the previous week. A no-call, no-show is automatic termination. I told her I did call in, but she didn't believe me, so instead of telling me I was fired, So instead of her telling me I was fired, I said I quit right there on the phone. So I guess she didn't fire me, but fired me. I don't know. Yeah, he did apologise for his grammar, but it is really bad. Anyway, to the revenge. I already had plans to get her fired or demoted. Either one would have made me happy. Over the course of that month prior to my departure, I had taken video and pictures of how bad she had that store running. By the time I had gotten to my shift, I had taken pictures of filthy floors and bathrooms, flies all around the food assembly area, oh god, associates on their phone, even the manager herself playing games or whatever right on the floor, basically showing how she kept her store a wreck during her shift and I was left to clean up the rest. I ended up sending this all the way to our regional manager because this store manager, this useless store manager, was banging our district manager, so if I sent it to him it would have gotten buried, and I got a response back that the situation would be handled accordingly. The district manager ended up getting fired due to incompetence, and he was also under fire initially for sexual assault allegations from other store workers, and my store manager got demoted all the way down to basic store associate. The icing on the cake was a year later after I quit. I was working in a warehouse that year after I graduated, making almost $20 an hour. There was another one of the convenience stores right down the road from my building. I ended up going there for my lunch, only to see my old boss getting reamed out by that store's manager. So with the knowledge that I was making almost 3 times her hourly wage, and she was still incompetent at her job, it made me quite happy. Oh, fair enough. And Spofy Queen, welcome, lovely to see you. And yes, the help command, welcome. I haven't seen your name in the chat before, so I assume you knew. And we are very supportive of mental health. I'm a mental health advocate as one of the secondary hooks of our community-based stream. Welcome to Story Sunday, lovely to have you, and thank you so much for watching. Got a couple more stories left. Oh, who won the duel? Who won? I saw a lot of Kraybot text going flying by. Congratulations, Stu. And yes, Spoofy, it was you checking out our cred commands as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, so creds are our channel points, and that's a meta command to show you how many you've got, how you can earn them or what you can spend them on, and the mental health advocacy as well. Excellent, 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 excellent. Oh, we've got a couple more. So from Darkins again, Lord Darkins, pro-revenge, abusive instructor, gets fired. And then for part 2, we'll be doing Pillars of Eternity, which I can't wait to get back to. God almighty.
Subway 75 bonus 7 gotta love pro-revenge.
I know, it's probably your favourite subreddit to go to. It's always the ones you post the last few segments on. Darkins, thank you so much to 75 Biddies. If you're new here and not used to the startling, don't worry, you'll get used to it or you'll become numb to it. Thank you again so much for the 75 and the bonus 7, taking full advantage of that September. So this is only 2 hours old, so it's actually not had any upvotes yet from the user, The Observer 1992. Oh, in a previous post, I told how this person was verbally abusive and was threatened. So there was a previous story about how this person is now going to be described was verbally abusive and would threaten expelling anyone from the course that the user, the writer, is on. So, while on another course, I'd remain in contact with the people in the previous course and give them advice. The advice would range from coursework to dealing with certain people on bad days. One of those days, I was hanging around when I was asked a question, how do I deal with a certain instructor? I told them to keep a written account of all the things he was doing. So that's what they did. Reading now, I could tell that he was only getting worse as subtle verbal cues would set him off. So, including discrimination against people with disabilities, verbal harassment, and threats to withhold certifications, and so on, stuff like that, like really nasty things. After a few months, the copy was handed over to the head person, but nothing was seemed to be done about it. Then, a few months later, he was fired for unprofessional conduct. How is this pro-revenge? Well, that was done by me in the end. A few years later, the course I am now on saw the mental distress I was under from antisocial behaviour to paranoia. Due to the constant courses I was on, I was unable to deal with it properly, so I wrote up a report about everything this guy did to me. Due to the last one being a group, one of the degrees of harassment varied enough to be dismissed as it was all done anonymously. I put my name to it, cataloguing every trip where he would abandon us, every trip to town to get something he wanted and then return without consulting anyone, the threats about not going to the gym and getting exiled from every group, how he undermined my dyslexia, calling me an idiot and stupid. Once it was sent off, the person was dismissed from the service and then blacklisted from the service, but it did not end there. I got a visit from some of the representatives of the places in order to cover their asses, as new laws have been introduced where workplaces and courses could be shut down if I was to follow through with it. I was kind to the people not involved in the incident, but when asked how they could solve the situation, I gave them a list of guidelines for new recruiting and hiring practices. So in summary, I was discriminated against for having a disability due to there being no defined laws or protections at the time. I documented it. After a few years, when solid laws were in place, I reported everything, and due to legal repercussions, completely changed their hiring method. Well, that's good. I have to admit, the way that was written wasn't the best, so we've had stronger stories, but it was a happy ending. Okay, final one for part 1, then we'll move on to part 2. And Lord Darkin stands on the balcony of his manor and he yells "Hoy!" while waving his town flag to rally the citizens and residents below. This pro-revenge story, final pro-revenge story and final story of part 1, is called No, I'm Not Freely Giving You the Data Files Because I'm Not Legally Required To, from user Jacques Strap. Very clever. One day ago, 5,000 odd upvotes, so this should be quite good. English is his primary language. TLDR, American English, okay. Many years ago, I was a freelance computer-aided design specialist, so a freelance CAD specialist. I did work for places that needed proper plans drawn up from an idea. House plans, remodels, store demolition and remodel, venue lighting and audio systems, drainage plans, manufacturing machinery, and so on. If it was being used in construction or manufacturing of something, the odds were pretty good that I could put it on paper. This story happened... Okay, I mentioned a previous story from this era here, and there's a link anyway, but this story happens about 2 years after the first one. Okay, it's another follow-up story. I prefer to have stories that are, like, stand on their own legs, but never mind. Cast of characters. Me, is me, the user, Big Al, the business owner, Harry, Big Al's right-hand man, and Fran, an awesome secretary. So, Big Al, the business owner, worked in the construction industry, primarily housing, but some other stuff occasionally. His primary job was managing the development of a subdivision for a major home builder. Big Al and I have known each other socially for a few years. By the way, when I'm correcting things, I'm having to correct it for proper grammar and reading and so on live. There's probably a hunt going on! Exclamation mark hunt! Yo, Citizen Piney Druid and single man from Germany. Where does that forehead even end? I know, probably back to the middle of my head. Thank you for noticing. Darken, what's open access dialogue? I clicked it and the green face is asking me for more details. I posted previous stories, deleted from Pro Revenge. Okay, no worries, Darkens, no worries, appreciate it. No problem at all. Let's see. So, Big Al, where was I? He was successful at his job. This is Big Al, the business owner. He was successful at his job, had reached the top level. This would sit fine with a lot of people, but Big Al's ego and his semi-trophy wife's financial appetite wouldn't let him be satisfied. He wanted to be the big cheese and be making money by the truckload. I get a call from Big Al one day. He needed some drawings done for building permits and custom home plans. The company's CAD person was backed up, so Big Al contacted me to do some work. Additionally, and with the blessing and investment money from his boss, Big Al was starting up his own construction company and wanted to use me for his plans. I was enthusiastic because Big Al is a strong Type A personality and will rise to the top of whatever he takes on, which means he'll make some serious money and I'll get some coin along the way. For 2 years, everything went great. The only contract we had at the start was a handshake agreeing to be honest with each other and treat each other fairly. Red flag number one. Big Al started his business as a one-man operation in the loft of his house. After several months, he moved to a small office with a little old lady secretary receptionist. I think this will probably be Fran. From there, he moved to a larger office with a staff of several people to help manage the business. The company had several subdivisions around the area and business was booming. Big Al had developed about 20 base house plans. Each had 5 exterior options, types of roof, line, windows, etc. Plus all the siding, brickwork, customization that one could visualize. So all the houses in the base model were very similar to build, but they all looked distinctly different. Clever. Big Al would allow some customization of the interiors too, for a price increase. People couldn't move the load-bearing walls, but everything else was open to discussion. I printed out some handout sheets for him with a basic floor plan on one side and the 5 exterior frontal elevations on the back. Like I said, oh, hang on, let's catch on the chat there. Pine, I think I already said hello to you, but welcome. It's lovely to see you in here again, mate. And Piney Darkens and Stu, congratulations. So, like I said, business was good for Big Al. I needed a right-hand man. He needed a right-hand man and offered me the job. I would be pulling down about 3 times more than I was making on my own. In all honesty, I had no desire to work for him. Big Al was a strong Type A personality, and I'll be damned if I'm going to be in a situation where I would be subjugated to someone like that guy. I sure enjoyed working with him, but did not want to work for him. But I didn't want to turn him down outright. So I put some unreasonable demands on my conditions for employment. Flexible hours, lots of benefits, bonus opportunities, and so on. Nope, he wouldn't budge. Thankfully. Not sure what I would have done if he had accepted. I continued to work for Big Al. By this time, he was ready to fancy up the handouts of the various models. He wanted an individual floor plan for each of the 5 plan options and a landscape rendering of the back. The landscapes had to be unique on each one. They couldn't just look like I dropped the house into the same set of vegetation. Not a problem, but a bit involved. That's true. Having been a 3D environment artist myself, it gets quite hectic. I told him I'd need to do one to see exactly what was involved and then give him an estimate. He agreed and I gave him what I believed to be a fair price. Big Al gave me the green light and I started on the first 3 plans. When I delivered the first 3 sets of renderings, which is 15 in total, Big Al wanted to introduce me to someone. The guy's name was Harry, and Harry was now Big Al's right-hand man who had taken the job that had previously been offered to the user. I would no longer be dealing with Big Al. Harry would be my primary contact. I really didn't care as long as I got paid. But there was something off about Harry that I couldn't quite nail down. Something in the back of my mind was telling me not to trust him. Big Al trusted him though, and he knows a lot more about people in this industry than do I. So I just put those thoughts aside and moved on with the project. After all, we had 17 more sets of 5 renderings to complete. I'd be getting paid for the work, or so I thought. I finished with the next 7 sets. That would be 35 renderings in the package, somewhere in the neighbourhood of about $5,000. Harry was thrilled to have them. I said to leave the bill with the secretary and they'd get it on the next round of checks. And Outsider Drake 158, hello mate, good day to the UK from Prague. Oh, from Prague. I am planning a little jaunt to Prague. It's a city I've always wanted to go to. It's apparently completely beautiful, and I'm thinking of doing a later in the year visit. Outsider Drake, thank you so much for watching the show and popping up and saying hello from your gorgeous cultural city. And Citizen Duncan, how you doing, man? How you doing? I was reading, we got through some of your stories earlier. Oh yes, and don't forget, as well as hunting and dueling, you can spin and pull the levers on the one-armed bandits in the streaming complex. Let's see. So I finished the next 7 sets. Yeah, so $5,000. He said to leave the bill with the secretary and they'd get it in the next round of checks. No problem. That's been standard sort of procedure since Big Al hired his first secretary. Now he has a new one. Okay, Fran. Several years earlier, Fran had been the secretary for another client, and we had a good relationship. She was a really sweet person. She knew Big Al for years, and he had been trying to get her on board since he started the company. Fran is the type that is sweet on the outside, but she knows everything going on in his read people, so she's nice but savvy. Don't mess with Fran. She knows where the bodies are buried. Oh, good. This is getting juicy. A week after I dropped off the renderings, I get a call from. 2 seconds. I like to join good streamers. Oh well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you think well, you'll fit in just fine here. We're a very positive driven community. The awkward and the rude don't tend to stick around here very much. Let's see, a week after I dropped off the renderings, I get a call from Harry. He tells me they will not be paying this bill at this rate as they found someone who can deliver the same product for less than half what I'm charging. I told them they were certainly within their rights to use someone who can do the project at a cheaper rate, but I expected to be paid at the rate Big Al had agreed to pay. Harry informed me that they didn't have to pay at that rate because we did not have a written contract. He was right when I said red flag earlier. Having been in that situation and learnt the hard way, it's a very annoying set of circumstances. Big Al and I had worked for years on a handshake. I'm trustworthy enough to do that, and I thought Big Al was as well. Harry said Big Al was no longer involved in the business at this level, so I hung up and called Big Al. He said it was indeed Harry's issue to handle and he wasn't getting involved. Shitty response. I emailed Harry and copied Big Al, informing them that I expected to be paid at the agreed upon rate and would not be doing any more work for them until that happened. Harry accused me of ripping off the company from the beginning and that I was mad because he had just found my cash cow. Big Al said nothing. Harry contacted me a week later wanting the data files for all their floor plans. They were working with a new CAD person and didn't want to pay him to redraw all the floor plans. I told him no, those are related to work product. Absolutely. Since we didn't have a contract and our verbal agreement was only for printed plans, I'm not legally obligated to turn over those files. Harry started with legal threats and I told him to go ahead and call his lawyer. The lawyer would say the same thing. I said, no contract, no files. The irony is that I would have just given them a copy of the files if the relationship hadn't soured. They had paid me to create the drawings and those files were just sitting on my hard drive doing nothing but taking up space. People have asked for their drawings in the past and I've had no problem with being a nice guy. Now, however, is not the time to be a nice guy since I have an unexpected bargaining chip, a little bit of leverage. I'll catch up on the chat in a second, folks, as we're coming to the end of the story. Well, a few more paragraphs. A week goes by and Big Al calls. He says he values our past relationship and blah 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 and we need to work something out here. I let him know I was not pleased with how I was treated in this mess, particularly the tactics Harry used and the way Harry was blindly backed by Big Al even though we had a great relationship prior to Harry's arrival. Ever the seeker of dollars, Big Al asks what it would take to remedy the situation and get the drawing files. I told him to pay the $5,000 I'm owed and we'd talk. Big Al balks at that, says he needs to do a deal that doesn't make Harry look like an idiot. I told him nothing would change the fact that Harry is an idiot and I can't believe he's trying to cover Harry's butt. Big Al makes a counteroffer, $2,000 for the renderings and $3,000 for the drawing files. I agreed with conditions. I would come in the following week to deliver product and get the check, even though it was out of their usual cycle. Harry would be the one to give me the check and take possession of the product. Harry would also apologise for the way he treated me. Big Al took the deal. The big day comes and I arrive at the office. Fran holds up, back to Secretary Fran. Fran holds up an envelope with a check in it. I said that wasn't what I agreed to. She smiled and she said she tried to tell Harry, but he wouldn't listen. Fran called back to his office, told him I was here to drop off the drawings and wanted my check. 10 seconds of silence as Fran listens to Harry. He's so loud I can hear his voice coming down the hallway from his office. Fran says she'll ask, says nothing for a few seconds, then tells Harry I said he needed to hold up his end of the deal or I'm walking out the door. An obvious look of surprise comes over my face. She smiled, hung up the phone and said in a loud voice, "Harry will be here in a moment." I was momentarily confused, then I realised there were several offices within earshot of the reception area. I could see into 3 of them, and those people perked up so they could listen in. All I could figure out is that this was not the first time Harry is having to eat some crow in the lobby. Harry came in, took the check from Fran, gave a half-hearted apology, and gave me the check. I set the renderings and data files on Fran's desk and left. I later found out that Harry was regularly apologising to someone in the lobby, much to the delight of everyone in earshot, because I wasn't the only one treated badly. Fran told me when we ran into each other a few months later. She also expressed her disdain for Harry and hoped he would screw up bad enough for Big Al to fire him. Big Al did indeed fire Harry about a year later. It turns out that Harry changed a lot of Big Al's contractors to companies and people Harry has worked with in the past. These subcontractors would funny up their bills and give Harry a piece of it in the form of a kickback. Harry and Big Al ended up having a lawsuit over it. Big Al won, but it nearly cost him his business, and he lost a lot of personal relationships with contractors due to Harry's idiocy. I managed to get paid for the work I had done, but missed out on the rest of the project. $5,000 worth of work. That always stuck with me. Big Al and I still bump into each other socially, but we kept our distance. I vowed to get even with him if I was ever in a position to do so. As far as I was concerned, my business and personal relationship with Big Al was finished. Or so I thought. My chance to get even came 3 years later. He contacted me about taking on another project. That story will come at a later date. Oh, we finish on a cliffhanger. Well, thank you so much, Darkens. Right, let me just catch up on a little bit of the chat there. That is, we're at the end of part 1. I'm just going to catch up a little bit and then we'll update the bits of... Fuck! Oh, God.
Gotta love it when someone is forced to eat crow.
It seems to be a thing you do like reading up on Darkens. Thank you for submitting those. And a thank you to, well, first of all, before I update anything, a thank you to Darkens for about 6 of those submissions, Evil Jess for the parishioner getting his entire church stoned, his marker for Tifu, Duncan of Florence for Today I Learned and Ignoble Deaths in History, and Reddit Facepalm. Thank you everyone for submitting. And if you want me to read anything you find interesting, your personal stories, your own fanfiction, poems you like, Reddit articles or other cool things that fall within the rules of the chat for part 1 of Story Sunday, put them in the suggestions forum in the Krayvenstown Streaming Complex District in Krayvenstown itself, which for those of you who don't already know is our lovely, lovely Discord. Let me just catch up a little bit here. How's it doing? Prague is a beautiful, a little bit further. I want to go to Prague too. I actually got, the only Czech I know is rude, so I won't say it. Prague is a beautiful city, only overpriced for its citizens. Yeah, I can imagine it's probably a bit pricey these days. And Duncan had an amazing weekend with my girlfriend. Tough to part again for the work week. Oh, Duncan, I'm very happy. I'm really glad you're having a nice time, mate. Dirty words commonly learned is the first thing when you're in a different country. The first thing I learned when I lived in Belgium for 5 years, even before I lived there, I had my Flemish friends teaching me, because I lived in Flanders, Dutch-speaking Belgium, teaching me rude words and rude sentences in Dutch, and then the rest of it came later. Exercise Darkens, thank you so much to the 75 biddies. Alrighty, now is a perfect opportunity to go and grab yourself a drink, take a wee, because that is part 1 of Story Sunday. Once again, thank you everyone for submitting. For the rest of today's stream, we go from actual stories to narrative games, and the live reading and vocal descriptions and voices of yours truly continue, because in a couple of minutes we're going to get underway with Pillars of Eternity 2. Cracking RPG. So go get yourself some snacks, go and have a wee, or whatever you need to do. Get yourselves a drink, make a cup of tea or whatever else, and we will carry on shortly. I'm just going to be right here chatting.